He asked me what happened, and I told him I didn't know, that she started to behave this way shortly after having eaten the ice cream. Now, here we have a good example of what I was talking about before, because we have ask here, and I told you how we have two verbs for that. We have preguntar and pedir. Now, in this instance, it's correct to use preguntar and not pedir. So this is a gap that we'll fill later. Me preguntó, for the dot, he asked me. So, me preguntó. What happened? Here we have, right, the pasar goes to pasó in the past. What happened? ¿Qué pasó? You hear that a lot. And I told him. So this would be, and I told to him, right? Y to him, I told. Y le dije. That I didn't know. Saber is not a verb that we've done a dedicated module on, but we need to, because it's in the top 10 most frequently used verbs, and it's irregular. It's a verb like querer and tener that tends to fall into the line past. But I need to do a dedicated module in order to explain properly why that is, and it's actually very interesting. So this would be no sabía. We'd have the sabía for the line. Y le dije que no sabía. Literally, that sabía means I was not knowing, which doesn't make any sense in English, because we would say I didn't know. But in Spanish, for a very specific reason, they would use a line here, que no sabía, that I wasn't knowing. Then she continues that she started to behave this way. Okay. To start, we have a few verbs, but we're going to use empezar. Like this, empezar, to start or to begin. And for she began or she started, empezó. To behave this way. Empezar is very frequently followed by a, like the verb ir. It's just something that you get used to with the verb. Empezó a, to behave herself, comportarse. Use the full verb. Que empezó a comportarse this way. You can just put así, like this or like that. Shortly after, we could also in English say a little after having eaten, and that's the way they would say it in Spanish. So it would be un poco, a little, and then after, después, with an accent over the E. So un poco después, a little after or shortly after. Now, having eaten the ice cream, this having, again, we'll have to fill this gap. Después haber comido. This haber is representing having in English. Un poco después haber comido. And then the ice cream, el helado. So I feel here is also a little gap we are yet to fill. So we have me preguntó qué pasó y le dije que no sabía, que empezó a comportarse así un poco después de haber comido el helado. And reading through that, I noticed that I should have de in here. Sounded a little bit wrong to my ears, so it would be que empezó a comportarse así un poco después de haber comido el helado.